Now, this question or this request has been popping up on our support tickets numerous times. So due to the high popular demand, we decided to actually create a video to just showcase to you how you can actually add editable data tables. In this video, we'll be using Jet as our demo of choice. However, this method or this way of implementing our editable data table is the same across all of our products. So first, we can just go ahead and purchase and download Jet. To do that, you just have to go to our website KeenThemes.com, click on Jet, and then just sign in and purchase it. And once you've done that, it should look something like this. And just open up this folder with the IDE of your choice. In this case, we are using Visual Studio, and I've gone ahead and actually started a localhost environment, and it looks basically like this. This is now Jet running, and the first thing we need to do is we'll need to open up our documentation and just scroll down to data tables and go to perhaps API and scroll down a little bit, and you see a form input sample of a data table with form inputs. So in here, you can actually just change this value to something else, and maybe you can change it to like senior accountant, and then change it to maybe another office branch, something like that. And if you submit the form, it basically grabs this row and all the other rows. But in this demo, we're just going to show the first row because it'll be way too long to display everything else. So if you can see here, the position is a senior accountant, and the age is 34, and the office is New York right here. So let's go ahead and change that to say something ridiculous so that we can see the difference. So let's go ahead and put it as 99999. Of course, nobody will live that long, but this is just for demonstration's sake. And let's change this to something, say XYZ, and we change it to London. Right, and then we submit form, and you can see the age is now 99, and then the senior accountant XYZ, and then branch is now London. So as you can see here, it's grabbing the data based on whatever we entered here, and it's just returning an alert because we do not, in this, it's just a demo, we do not have any server-side or backend integration with anything. But what you could do is you can just grab all this information and serve it to your backend logic, and then with your backend logic you can do your necessary functions or features to then, I don't know, do other cooler features within your project. So now in this video I'll show you how you can actually implement this entire data table into your project. So the first thing you need to do is you need to create a new page within Jet. So let's go ahead and do that. So what we want to do is we want to create a new folder. We can put the folder anywhere, but in this case I want to put it in the apps. Okay, a new folder called, say, data table, and then here a new file called data table as well, so called HTML. And then what we want to do is we want to copy another page from the admin theme within Jet, copy the page so that we can have a template that we can use, we can just start using. So maybe we want to use, let's see, what's a good page, good simple page that we can use that we can change. This is not bad, but I don't really want this here. About us, yeah, you know what, let's just use this. So about us, we look for general and about us. So go to general, about, and you copy this whole entire page and put it in here and save that. And what we can do is we can go to our apps DataTable /datatable.html, and our styles are broken. So what we need to do is we need to change the path at the top, this small element here. Because the path is different, general only has one folder from the root, DataTable has two, has DataTable and apps, so we just need to add one more of these and refresh, and there we have our page. can change the name for it. So for example, if I do a quick search for about us. Yep, we can just change this. This is the menu. We do not want to touch the menu, so let's go below. This is again the menu right here. Okay, so we can change this to data table, and this is data table. This is the breadcrumb. Yep, and change this to data table. Save that, and we see everything change. This of course is still pointing to the about us, because we did not change the menu at all yet. As you can see, the menu is still pointing to about us, and if you want to change the menu, you just need to swap this out, remove the active, and yeah. Anyways, what we want to do is we just want to put a data table in here, and that's it. So what we do is we minimize the side menus, minimize this, we minimize the header, and now we have our content. So this is the card body and everything else in it. We can actually delete this whole thing, like even we do not need the statistics, we do not need the sections or the theme, and these other cards here. Let's just go ahead and delete all of that. Save that, and then now we have a blank canvas or a blank card. And now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our HTML from here, grab this whole thing, and paste it within our card body. Ooh, we actually accidentally copied our footer, which we do not want. So now in here we have two things. First, we have our submit form, so our submit button rather. Okay, and we have our table. So this is our data table. Alright, so this button is basically this button here. So if we refresh this page, you see the button and then our data table. So at the moment we only have 2 rows, but we have like a whole lot more here, simply because in the documentation demo we did not populate this list all that much, because if we did, it will take up way too much space. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to do what we did previously by copy and pasting the rows. However, one thing we need to note is the row numbers. So we have row 2, row, and here we need to be 3, and then it should go on for 4, and it moves on. You can of course populate this program automatically, or you can generate this whole list using some backend server-side code by using a for loop or a for each loop, that if you have a whole set of data, you can just grab the data and then do a for each to generate this code. So all you need to do is just generate the tr or the table row, repeat or replace the main data with the main values with the data that you grab from your server or your backend, and then it should just generate correctly. But in this case, since we are just manually or quickly generating this demo, so I'm just going to do this real quick. Alright, so we have 10 rows. We go back here. Now we have 10 rows of repeating names, but that's fine. So now we need to put our JS. So let's go ahead and put apps and just create a new folder called DataTable and a new file called datatable.js, and we want to just copy this, put it in our data table, and then we just remove some things. We do not need all these private functions that is relevant to chat. Take that out, rename that, and take this out too first. So we rename this to DataTable demo. Put this here, .init, and in here we create our data table. Init data table. Okay. Right, copy that, put it in here. We do this element, and we now paste or copy and paste the JavaScript that comes along with this data table. So let's copy this, put it in here, and now we need to replace this name with a proper name. So at the moment we're using this data table example 2 submit and data table example 2. So let's replace that to say KT data table demo, and then we have this as submit. And then what we do is we replace this as this and submit as submit. Whoops, that's not how you spell submit. There we go. Alright, so how do you read this? So this is the initialization. So this is init data table, and then this is the handle submit button. So first we are initializing the data table and assigning the data table to a variable called table, and when you click the submit button, we're grabbing the table data and then displaying it. So what you can do with your code is place this alert with something else, or basically you want to replace this alert with maybe a Ajax call or fetch request or something else that sends information or HTTP requests to your server, and you just have to dump data as the payload, and your server will then do the necessary processes. So let's go ahead and build this. You can build it by running gulp, and what it does is just pushes this data table.js into our folder here. When it's done, that data table is added in, and that's it. And of course we will need to include a couple of things. We need to add our vendor files. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's put our CSS, our data table CSS here, and our data table script at the bottom. So put it under the vendor, and now we need to include our data table JS file that we just created. So let's go ahead and do that. It's under assets, custom apps, and then data table and data table.js. Right, that's all done. Let's go ahead and go to our page here and do a quick refresh. And now we can submit the form, and we can see the age, the position, and whatnot. So let's go ahead and change it to something else literally. Change the name to age to something ridiculous so they can see. Change it to maybe San Francisco. Submit, and as you can see, it's all working correctly. So that's how you do it. And yeah, I hope you found this video informative. If you did, just give us a like. Please also subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so the next time we release a new video, you get an update. Please also follow us on our social medias like our Twitter and Facebook. Links will be in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.